Hey folks, Nick ReviewMX here, and time for some more comic reviews. I need to apologize if you're hearing a rather loud and annoying humming in the background. We're having issues with our hot water heater here, and it's very noisy. But, still have some comic books to review. Let's take a look. Starting with Teen Titans number 64, it finally picks up on the whole Ares and Wonder Dog storyline. And apparently it isn't Ares, but it's his son Lycos. And every time he murders someone, or I guess uses his dogs to do so, in Ares' name, he gets stronger, while Wonder Girl gets weaker. By the way, I have a dog named Ares. Interesting coincidence, no? This is all done amidst a fight with Bombshell, in which Zeus literally plucks Wonder Girl right out of the battle, much to the bewilderment of her teammates. It's not a bad issue, actually, although the constant back and forth between Bombshell and her dad got a bit old after a while, and the it's a bit sketchy. Gonna give it a 7 out of 10. Punisher War Journal Annual number 1 is purposefully ridiculous and silly, using cartoonish and childish art to juxtapose the violence, as Frank spends most of the issue looking at reality through someone else's warped perceptions. The art is fairly monstrous, and once you get past the whole Frank shooting ninja teddy bears novelty, the plot isn't really all that interesting. Pass on this one, 4 out of 10. Venom Dark Origin number 4 focuses mostly on Eddie terrorizing Mary Jane, which is actually the only thing about this mini that has been handled well and may be considered the payoff, as everything else has either been treaded no new ground at all or tried to improve on the origin and failed. For once, you could see why Venom scared Mary Jane so badly that the sight of the black costume was too much for her. Not a bad issue, but 4 issues into a mini-series? It's too long to wait for something to get halfway decent. Gotta give it a 6 out of 10. Final Crisis Resist had me excited, especially as Submit was so good, but as Submit had the interplay between Black Lightning and Tattooed Man to work off of, Resist instead has Snapper Carr having sex with Cheetah and then losing his power to a previously unmentioned metagene nullifying virus. It's just not all that interesting. And the rest of the issue plays off as a Checkmate one-shot, more than that, and a Crisis tie-in. Disappointing to say the least, 4 out of 10. Justice Society number 20 gives us a break from Gawk and focuses on Power Girl and the conflict between her and the new Power Girl of Earth 2. Starman's purpose is revealed, and in the end, the whole thing does indeed tie very closely into the Gog storyline, as Green Lantern and Mr. Terrific rethink their stances on the matter. The issue, despite its bombastic cover, really is a low-key book, delving mostly into the drama going on in the background and setting up the entire next part of the Gog saga. It's worth a look, though you definitely had to have read the annual. 8 out of 10. Terra number 1 is interesting, thrusting a new unknown Terra into battle, teaming her up with Power Girl, and not knowing who she is at all. It seems the focus of this mini will be who she is and where she came from, and it's nice to have a bit of mystery. The artwork, it's just plain weird, however. It's sort of a cutesy look. It kind of makes everybody look like a midget. First issues usually suck, and while Terra number 1 doesn't exactly break the rule completely and kick ass, it at least does not suck. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Oh boy. Trinity number 23, what can I say? We're nearing the halfway point for this, and despite a few decent issues peppered in there, here and there, this series has gone from bad to worse to unreadable. Save your money. You'd be better off buying 4 monthlies. Another 1 out of 10. I read it so you don't have to. Superman and Supergirl Maelstrom number 1 comes in at a very odd time. With the whole new Krypton thing going on, the need for a book teaming the Kryptonian cousins is fairly low. However, having read this, I have to recommend it, if only for the artwork. Now, while the writing does its job well enough, the artist's rendition of Superman is one of the coolest I've seen in a while. You really will believe that Superman is a larger-than-life mythical hero. The actual plot involves some stuff that has to have taken place a while ago, with the new gods and all, but despite this, it's a fairly entertaining read that really captures the spirit of the characters. 8 out of 10. And finally, Adventure Comics Special number 1 purports to be the third part of New Krypton, which is somewhat dubious, as it does not continue the narrative started in the Superman New Krypton special and continued in Superman number 681. However, it does tie in, reintroducing the concept of the Guardian of Metropolis and where he's been all this time and what it means for the reader. The bulk of the issue is told in flashback as the Guardian is interviewed by Jimmy Olsen. More of a side story than an actual part of New Krypton, Adventure Comics Special nevertheless is worth a look, especially if you remember this character and you're feeling nostalgic for his return to the Superman comics. 8 out of 10. That's going to be it for this week. I pretty much got around almost everything. Didn't get the latest Spider-Man, but we'll just do it next week. So see you then.